Rabbi said the share is undamaged. You don't have to pay, but we're still having a sikkum.
Just briefly, we learned today, first of all, first and foremost, we can't overestimate this, the importance of being careful not to do damage. Taisi says the person has to be careful. As we see today, the payment for damage is often not enough, but that's halacha, so a person has to be careful not to do damage. But if there's damage, it seems that there are two ways of assessing the damage, either the depreciation, which means how much the item is worth less, or the meitikun. And typically Bezdin will follow the meitikun, which often is synonymous with the depreciation, but the meitikun is a way of gauging how much the loss was. The nizik has to left with the headache of selling the broken item, a damaged car or a suit, and that's part of the agmas nefesh that has to be we have to try to avoid. But basically that's the Gzeras HaKosiv, that unlike Geneva, where the Ganav is an Avila, Hezek sometimes not an Avila, and Vameisi Yaloi, the Nizik is stuck with the headache of selling the remaining item. Pashtis, it seems that the Paiskim assume that they may tikkun, but it's not clear that you have to, the Mazik has to be busy with fixing it. That might be the job of the Nizik as well. If someone totaled someone else's car, you do not pay the price of what he paid, the original price. It's the value of a used car, this type of car, minus the value of the car itself, whatever can be sold for parts and metal, etc. A used item is not what the bailam paid for it, a shirt, etc. It's what the value is, the market value, or else the value of what the person has. Someone asked me, and it's a good point, I also had this problem, why when it comes to a car do we look at the amount that you could sell it for, but a shirt you look only for the bailam? Why is there a market price? But apparently the market price is what's the dominant cost, and everything else is when there's no other market price. A stain in a clothing, so then the cleaners, and if there's depreciation, you pay. Besides the cleaning is also the depreciation, the fact that now it has a slight stain to it. Even if there's no market price, but if it has value to the nizik, so that's considered a hezek. The nesiva sold, it has to be something that you could sell, but that's not what the paiskim accept. Lav dafka if it's sold in the marketplace, but it has to be that it has a definite value, albeit just to the nizik. There are different ways of evaluating what the cost of a used item is, but it's definitely a lot more than the original price. Either you look at how many years he used it or how much he would pay for it, but it's the value of the item as it was b'shas the hezek. If the price of the item changed or the price of the repair changed from the time that the damage until he's actually paying, so basically we go basa the chalois chiyav, which is the time of the hezek, and that's when the chiyav is chal. If someone did a small damage and then someone else did a big damage and totaled the car, so the first mazik has to pay, because the chalois chiyav was when he did his damage, and then it was a real chiyav. If a person bought an item in America, bought it to Eretz Yisrael, and it was damaged in Eretz Yisrael, you pay the price of what it's worth in Eretz Yisrael, because this is the same. If someone got an item for free, or got it on a sale, or reduced that price, all that is immaterial. You pay the value of the item, had he had to pay the regular price. If you bought a damaged item in the store, you pay the retail, not the wholesale cost for the balabas. If the nizik wants to keep the money and not repair the item, that's his option. He doesn't have to repair it, because basically you have to pay the damage, and him refixing it or not is not the business of the mazik. An esrog that was damaged before sukkah, you pay the fair price for this muhuda quality esrog. A small dent, a small scratch where there's no depreciation, Alvai Yidin would be more understanding, but daf mavat zayin, but daf moichel zayin, a shtickle oichet, and that's part of Asisa Yoshev HaToiv, not to mechayev someone to pay a hoin rav for a scratch. Again, I'm not saying you have to, but it's definitely the Ruach HaToiv to try to overlook things, not be mechayev someone because they'll fix it. We try to be mavata. If there's a hezek, of course they have to pay, that's Yoshev, but something that's no depreciation, could be there's no chiyev at all. But even if there is slight depreciation, but the cost is so exorbitant, it's kedai to overlook it. Hopefully there'll be a skula of Mavel Midoisav and Mavirin al Kol Pshav. An item that's fully insured, in theory, about there is a chiv to pay, because there's no chilik, the mazik has to pay. But since you can't claim insurance and claim from the mazik, so then the standard procedure you claim from the insurance, and the mazik pays a difference in the premium, but that's not a ptur, because there's insurance. a window in a house, a wall that doesn't depreciate the actual house, but you pay the damage for the window. You don't look at the window as part of a house, look at the window as a window. If an item cannot be replaced, a tile, a part of the floor, so then you look at the depreciation. He doesn't have to fix up the whole floor. Tikkun is if that's more than value of the car. The car was worth so little, but the headlights were damaged, and if the car is functional, it's kedai to pay for the headlights because that will repair the car, and then you could drive it again. A torn page of a sefer, a stain, try to repair it, and if there's little of a damage, if you try to get a mechila, but if not, if there's no depreciation, then that would be potter. The klals never leave the scene of a hezek until you know that you're doing the right thing. An item that has a special price in a fancy hotel or by an event, a siyam hashas, so that's its price. You can't pot them with the cost price, that's the price. One of a set, whether it's earrings or shoes or a suit, you look at the depreciation of even the second item because lamaisa it's valueless. A broken key and now the lock is valueless, or a broken lock and you have to get new keys, is all part of the same ha'ara, that it's a set you have to pay as the whole set was damaged. It's not a hezek shein or nikah, it's nikah that a key cannot work to a new lock, so that's a hezek in the key as well. Sentimental value is not considered a value. That's different than an antique or a collector's item or a passport or an album that has value to one person. A sentimental item is no value, it's sentimental, and that the person say is not a chiv of hezek. Tsar is subjective, but not hezek. And as we said, if someone damages a stamp of 2 stamps, even if the other one went up in price, that's still a chiv to pay, because hezek l'chudei and value l'chudei.